Okay, tracking. There's three things, documents, tools that I recommend, right? So a RAID log, it's called a RAID log, right? Which is risk, assumptions, issues, and decisions. And again, doesn't have to be fancy, it can be in Excel. But you do want to make sure that you identify these areas, because these aren't typically captured in the project plan, right? The plan is gonna list out, ask a person and needs to. The RAID is gonna list out things that pop up based on those discussions and areas that happen within the project plan. And so you want to document those. And sometimes they don't seem like they're a big deal, and sometimes they do. I would say when in doubt, document it, because you never know when it's gonna come back, right? And this can be anything from a risk, can be, like holidays coming up, are we gonna have our full team? It could be, it's cold and flu season, right? So we're in cold and flu season, we know people are gonna be out, we know holidays are coming up. There could be seasonal things, any assumptions that you can make, right? I did an assumption in the beginning. We're assuming that everybody is available to work on this project and we can pull from resources. It could be, we have unlimited seats on the software that we need. We don't have any limitations. Could be, we have great bandwidth. If you start looking at issues, we can start looking at, we have crappy bandwidth, right? And sometimes you do have that, right? Depending on where you're rolling it out to, some of your subsidiaries, some of your remote locations have crappy bandwidth, so you might have to keep that in mind, depending on the type of training. Maybe you have very remote locations that you need to figure out, are we gonna train them in person? Or are we gonna bring them in, and you start looking at some of those costs. Some issues might come up, is maybe you made an assumption about something and then you realize later it's not true. Right? Maybe it's like, hey, we were gonna have a limited budget, and no, they told us it's not unlimited. Right? So that might change things. Maybe they told us we're gonna have 10K budget and then they just slashed it in half. Maybe you had 30 days, now you have like, right? So this is where you wanna document it and you put the date on it so you know, and then that way you might have to adjust your project plan to adapt to those. Budget, hours and dollars, right? So you always wanna track this. So the hours component is sometimes if you're using internal resources, you have to track those internal resources, right? Because they'll say, okay, you can have this person for 10 hours a week, if not book their time for that internal project. And they wanna make sure. And then sometimes if you, they might just say, we need them for maybe 40 hours over the month. And then it's up to them, and make sure that you're tracking that, because people will say, hey, our work's not getting done. You said you have 40 hours and they're working 50 and 60 hours, right? So